Hey everybody, creepy tent video. It's late, it's 5 after 9 on the 31st, Wednesday, 31st of August. And I recorded a video earlier today for day 124 and 125. This video is for day 126. And it's hot. Like, I'm down below 8,000 feet, so it's a bit, actually, may be below 7,500, but it's a bit toasty down here. So at lunch, I talked about day 124 and 25. Some stuff happened after lunch, which was interesting. Before I jump into that, we woke up this morning with smoke. We, meaning I camped around Smoothie, Vista, Kite, and Kickback, because we had received the trail magic from Vista's mom, and there was a campsite right near there where it was actually a big one where all of our tents could fit. So we woke up, and I don't know if the fire had grown overnight, or if it just hit some really nice fuel, but the entire area was smoky. At lunch, I mentioned that I'd hiked 14 miles. That's not as the crow flies, but I was 14 miles away from that campsite on the CDT, probably 5 or 6 miles as the crow flies. And it was smoky all the way through lunch. Finally, in the afternoon, I got out of the smoke, which was nice. Yesterday, Tuesday, we, meaning all CDT hikers that are in this section, crossed from Idaho to Montana for the last time. So we're out of Idaho. We were told that the section of the border between Idaho and Montana was nothing but up and down, up and down, up and down. But once you made the turn towards Montana and north towards Glacier, that would ease a bit. And I have to say, it hasn't eased. Like, today was nothing but up and down, up and down, up and down. There were 3 big climbs, but there were small climbs in between. So a big climb, 800 feet, 1,000 feet, 1,200 feet. A smaller climb, 400, 600, 700 feet, right? So there were just loads. Like, as soon as I went up, I would be going down, and as soon as I got finished going down, I would be going up. There's no flats. So it kind of resembles the Idaho-Montana border, and I'm hoping that these up and downs are going to finish within the next day or so, because they take a lot of energy. By the end of the, like, mid-afternoon to the end of the day, like, your hiking pace just is so slow, because it's like, okay, my legs are tired. I've been doing this up and down all day. On top of that, I think I mentioned before I got into Wisdom, like, the 4 days leading into Wisdom, the trail was just full of rocks. I would say, I mean, maybe a quarter of the trail, I don't think it was that much, the rocks had been removed, or it was like a forest trail, and I don't think it was as much as a quarter, but it was just loads of rocks. It felt like my feet, like, at the end of the day, each day of those 4 days, my feet felt like they'd just been pounded with the meat tenderizer all day. And that's, I think, what led to my, like, sesamoids hurting on both feet. Also, just the ball of my foot hurt. The whole pad hurt. And unfortunately, those rocks haven't stopped. Like, I don't know if it's this section of mountains that the soil is just really rocky, but it's getting a little bit better. Like, today was, I would say, a third or maybe a little bit more of it was all right trail, but the rest of it was pretty rocky. We also went through 3 burn areas. I think they probably had beetle kill and then burn, and there was a lot of blowdowns, so that also slows some things up. So my hope is we're going to get out of the burn areas, we'll get away from the blowdowns, hopefully the rocky soil eases up a bit, and the up and downs ease up a bit. I was able to get about 27 miles today, which is good. I was aiming for 30, 28 to 30, but I fell a little bit short. So I'll keep you folks up to date on like the trail condition itself and all that kind of stuff. I think I may be out of the fire smoke, so that'll be good. My lungs were hurting on the ascent as I was breathing deep, and it was just filled with smoke. So after lunch, the first thing that happened was I had a bear encounter. It's my 5th bear encounter. The other 4, I think 3 of them were black bear encounters. I think one of them was a grizzly, but I didn't get to see it. Just the way it acted, like it was in the bushes. It was hiding itself, but the way it acted, it just, I think it was a grizzly. It wasn't intimidated by me being there. So today was my 5th bear encounter, and it was really odd. I was hiking down a bit of trail. For every minute I'm hiking, I yell every 15 seconds, "Yo, bear." I'm hiking by myself, so I need to make noise. And, every 15 seconds, "Yo, bear, yo, bear." If I hear some noise, I may yell it twice. If I'm in an area where I can't see very well, like a lot of trees or shrubs, I'll yell it more frequently. And I was yelling, "Yo, bear." And I just finished yelling, "Yo, bear." And the trail was coming up to a turn, and there was a kind of a grassy slope on the turn, and the grass was tall grass. It wasn't, grass around your yard. It was the tall grass you see in nature. And so I yelled, "Yo, bear," because I was making a turn, or I was approaching the turn, and a bear came running down the slope. And I saw it, and I stopped hiking, and I yelled, "Yo, bear," very, like louder than I had previously, and the bear stopped. The bear didn't run away. I yelled, "Yo, bear," a couple more times, and the bear just stood there and watched me. It was a bear cub or a young bear that had just got kicked out of den. It looked like it was a black bear. However, I couldn't be 100% certain just because it was up on the hill in the grass. I blew the whistle. I have a whistle on one of my straps, my sternum strap. I blew the whistle. The bear tilted its head, sort of like a dog does when it hears an interesting sound, but the bear didn't run. So all of this happened within seconds. So the bear running down, me yelling louder, and stopping and then yelling louder, the bear stopping. I had already pulled out my my bear spray within the first 2 seconds. I blew the whistle, and the bear tilted its head, but wasn't running. And I yelled, "Yo, bear," a couple more times, and the bear still wasn't running. All of that happened in a matter of 5 to 7 seconds. Since the bear wasn't retreating, I began to slowly take some steps back, but I was still talking at the bear. And I mean that purposely. I'm talking at the bear. I wasn't looking in the eyes. I was looking in its direction, an authoritative voice, saying, "Yo, bear, go away now, bear," just various things. I started recording a video because I don't plan on posting it. It's just more of, if the bear had attacked, I wanted there to be record. So like the Forest Service or the wilderness area rangers, like they had record of, this is what the bear looks like. The bear seemed to be contemplating its choices of, hey, is this prey or not? I think the fact that it was a young bear and I was standing up, I turned slightly so it could see my pack, so I looked bigger. I think if it had been a bigger bear, the way it was acting, I'm not sure if it would have walked off. But eventually, what the bear did was it walked to my left as I was facing the bear. It stayed up on the hill, so it didn't come downhill. It didn't come down on trail. It stayed uphill, so it had the advantage of the higher position. It started walking behind trees, so I couldn't see it. And it would walk out of trees. And I had stopped yelling, "Yo, bear," because I noticed that every time I yelled, "Yo, bear," it would stop and look at me. So I had stopped yelling. And what I did was, as the bear kind of moved to my left, I moved down the trail behind some trees. There was trees between myself and the bear, and I kind of kept on moving right because I wanted to keep those trees in between us if the bear was moving left. And then at one point I no longer could see the bear. I don't know if it had gone uphill or if it was behind shrubbery, but at that point I was so far to the right of this group of trees that I decided I'm gonna go ahead and walk. So I hiked down the trail very quickly, got around the corner, started yelling "Yo, bear" again, just in case it was a cub and the mom was around. And I kept on hiking. There was an ascent. I got up to the top of the ascent, and that's when I finally stopped. Just really weird. Bears generally, especially if it was a black bear, when it sees or hear people, it usually runs. It doesn't stand there and look at you and try to figure out, is this prey or not? Maybe the bear was curious. Maybe it had not seen humans before since it was young. But the other two cubs I've seen, I mean, they've scurried, they've run. And both those cubs are black bears. I'm pretty sure they're both black bears. So that was the first thing that happened after lunch. The second thing that happened, I had a hard fall. So I caught my left foot in a root and it would not come loose as I was starting to fall. Most of the times it'll come loose and you can catch yourself with the foot. In this case, it wasn't coming loose. The right foot was behind a rock and it could not come loose either. So I ended up on the ground. I kind of tilted myself, and so I landed on my left shoulder instead of my face, because there were rocks, as I mentioned before, there were rocks and all sorts of debris on the trail, and I didn't want to land face first. My right hand had my trekking pole in there, so I couldn't like do the extension and try to stop myself. And my left hand was down on my side. I kept it at my side because the shoulder was going to hit, and I didn't want to have everything going on that left hand and, you know, break the hand or the arm or something, because I have a heavy pack. I left town yesterday with 6 days of food. I still got 5 days of food today. It's a heavy pack with water and all that stuff. So the left shoulder took the brunt. I bounced. I distinctly remember that because I hit the ground. I moved a little bit forward and there was a rock there, and you'll see a little bit of puffiness. I hit right here on the rock. Now, I don't know if I hit down or if I scraped, but it was definitely enough that I remember, like, hey, your face just hit a rock. So I haven't had a fall like that. The last time I had a fall actually was down going into Pagosa Springs when I had rolled my ankle. I was off balance, and I fell with my pack when I was trying to climb over some deadfall. And I think I described that in a video, you know, down there, Pagosa. But this was a pretty good fall. I gave myself about 10 minutes to kind of check around, check my knees, check my head, check my shoulder, make sure, like, gear-wise, everything was all right. And everything seems to be all right on me and in the gear. I'm guessing my left shoulder is going to be pretty painful tomorrow. It's just one of those things that I got behind a root. I couldn't get my foot out, and I got lucky. The way I fell, my left shoulder hit dirt. It didn't hit rock. It could have easily hit rock because there were plenty of rocks on that trail. And I don't mean like just loose rocks on top. I mean like half buried rocks that are sticking out. And so I didn't hit rocks on anything vital that I can tell. My face is all right. It's a little bit puffy, but I think it's going to be just fine. I didn't hit hard enough to have like a concussion. I didn't hit forehead or side. It was just more of like I hit, I bounced, and then my face came on that rock. Just one of those lucky things where nothing major happened, so that was good. So between the standoff with the bear and then falling, the last, I would say, 3 miles of today, it was a pretty slow end of the day. That's another reason I didn't make the 28 to 30 miles was I just I took my time. It was like the last 2.5 miles was the descent. I would say the last 4 miles actually I took my time. So the last 1.5 mile was ascent, and then the last 2.5 was about 2.5 was a descent, and it was on rocky terrain, so I just took my time. We'll see tomorrow if anything's sore, like my neck, my face, my shoulder, any of my knees, or anything like that. So day 126, eventful day. I'm glad to be out of Idaho. I am glad definitely to be heading north. I think today on the navigation app we passed 2,400 miles, which means there's less than 600 miles left. So it depends also which route you take and which terminus you go to, but give or take it's 600-ish. So I think that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and let you folks go since it's about 1/4 after, a little past actually. I'm going to, like my tent setup and stuff, I just need to do my logbook and then I'm going to go to bed. So thanks for watching the videos. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you're definitely not falling face first onto rocks. And I will talk to you folks tomorrow. Have a nice evening. Bye.